Okay, everybody, welcome back. Excited to be back for this episode. This one is about the attributes of entrepreneurship. Ready? Aim, fire. So, the first one that is mentioned in the article, meaning the first attribute that is mentioned in the article, is passion. Now, Dad, when we were talking pre-recording, you were mentioning some awesome things about how we can identify whether or not we possess a passion for a certain thing that we're doing. So could you talk about that again?
Yeah, probably I mentioned before that as I was doing it, I came to the conclusion that, I could do this. And then I started thinking about it, and I noticed that I'd wake up early morning hours and I was thinking about it, how I was going to purchase a truck, how I was going to get it. And it just took possession of me. I knew at that point, so much so that I just fell into it. I was thinking about it off hours, and so I was doing it when it was time to run the business. And so I knew that I had that passion.
Yeah, so it was something that was for lack of a better way of putting it, consuming you, meaning like you were thinking about it whenever you could, you were planning, you were dreaming about it, meaning creating your vision of how you wanted things to be, and making your plan as to how you're going to get there.
Yeah, I just really was having a great time with it, and not only thinking exactly what I wanted, not only a vision of it, but the day-to-day plans of how I would run it.
Yeah, so I think a good way of putting this for our audience, a way for us to identify whether or not we're passionate about something, is we need to focus on what is it that we're thinking about in our spare time when we're not, forced to think about what are we going to eat next or whatever our obligations may be. That thing that we sit down and we just think about for fun. So I think a big motivation for me with firepreneurship is I feel like it's going to work. I feel like it's working. And so I want to prove myself either right or wrong with that, and so that's a great motivating factor. And also I can see that I'm passionate about it because I'm constantly thinking, okay, how am I going to prove this to myself? How am I going to prove my theory? How am I going to make this work? So yeah, we really need to focus on our thoughts. What are we thinking about? What gets us excited? What keeps us up at night? Uh, and what do we wake up in the morning thinking about? What's the first thing we want to do? What are those things that if we're not doing them, we kind of get a little antsy, feeling like, hey, I really want to do this. And being able to replace that word with, meaning instead of saying, I need to work on my business, rather say, I want to, because when you're doing what you love to do, and you're passionate about it, then you'll very freely use the word I want to do this as opposed to I need to work on my business. Otherwise, there's going to be serious consequences. That sentence may be true, but you don't want that to really be your motivation behind things. You want to do things because you want to do them, not because you need to.
So I agree. I think that the need does kind of go into some of these other qualities that we talk about. We could talk about determination, that that your passion isn't a fleeting passion when you come across obstacles in your business, or you find out that you're going to need to do some things that you probably would rather not, but you feel a determination that you're going to do them because you really want your business to succeed.
Yeah, I think that brings up a good topic where like finding the solution. Entrepreneurs are really good at finding solutions. They very firmly believe that every problem has a solution, and it's just a matter of time, of effort until you find that solution. And it's that belief in yourself, knowing that you can figure it out. You can come up with the solution. And, like there are people that say, oh, well, there's this problem in the world. Somebody should come up with a solution. but then they start to think, well, who better to come up with a solution than me? Because I'm very familiar with this problem. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, or I guess I should say, a lot of businesses are born from the experiences of the entrepreneur. They're going through a problem that they're very familiar with, very intimate with. And so they are able to come up with a solution. They believe in themselves enough to where they know that they can come up with a valid solution that others are going to appreciate and take advantage of as well. So I think like being able to having that ability of coming up with a solution for things ties into the attribute of vision, having a vision. It definitely takes having a vision to be able to perceive a problem in the world and then come up with a solution. And as we were talking about in our pre-discussion, we were talking about how having a vision or being a visionary is seeing the end from the beginning. It's seeing your business the way that you want it to be in the future. You're seeing it, quote unquote, done. A business is never done. Really, once you get to that quote unquote done part of your business, then you set another goal and you keep moving it forward. You're able to take the next step, to have a clear vision, to know exactly where you're going and to keep yourself on track.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand in a vision, it doesn't have to be grandiose. You don't have to transform the whole world into, to world peace. It can be very, a lot smaller than that. As long as you cherish it or want it, it doesn't have to, inspire a movement or anything. Obviously, things like Tesla is very inspiring, and Elon Musk is a very rich man. But being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you don't have to have that same experience. There are millions of entrepreneurs throughout the world that have a small business, but they really, really like that, and their vision could be as small as being able to buy the property where they would have a shop and be able to have their name over the door. That might be their vision, and that's fine. I think just each one of us needs to discover what ignites us and what we're excited about.
We definitely, when we're setting our vision or our goals, we need to be real with ourselves and decide for ourselves what is it exactly that we want in our lives. We need to keep in mind the consequences, or I guess everything that comes along with our dream. Like if you want to be someone that has many mansions and really nice cars and a private jet and all of these great things, that there's nothing wrong with them, but you have to realize what comes with that. You have to work super hard. You have to sacrifice so many things to be able to get there. And as they say, with more money, with more possessions comes more responsibility. And if you're okay with that, if that's what you want, if that's what excites you, as Dana was saying, then awesome, go for it. Just make sure you know exactly what goes along with it. On the flip side, if your goal is to live a simple life, have a nice modest home, nice modest cars, and just live a simple life where you're able to spend time with your family and not worry about money or too many responsibilities. We always have responsibilities to worry about, so there's nobody that can say I have no responsibilities. But then you have to realize with that dream, which is also a very great and valid dream, that there's going to be sacrifices with that as well. You're obviously, if that's your dream, you're obviously not going to have a mansion, to make examples, right? You're not going to have a mansion. You're going to have a nice, modest home as you laid out in your plan. And if you're okay with that sacrifice, then perfect. You have the correct dream that is for you. I think too much in our society we're fed the idea that in order to be successful, we have to be one of those people that have mansions and awesome cars and private jets, where that's really not the case. You're a successful person when you're living the life that you personally decided is the life for you. And that's when you're successful. And so we need to kind of break away from what society tells us and realize that success isn't exactly what they say it is. It's something totally different, and it's success is when we're finding our own true happiness. And I think happiness is the most important part, because there are too many people out there that have all of these riches, all of these things, and they're not happy. And so at the end of the day, we need to decide what makes us happy and go with that. And as I'm saying, that looks different for everybody. But we just need to be real with ourselves and set those goals to achieve our own success, our own happiness.
Yeah, and the simpler it is, the easier it is to obtain. And you can always change it later. You may have a breakthrough, or your idea is very revolutionary, and you may make a lot more money than you were at the beginning suddenly. But that's the exception to the rule. Most entrepreneurs don't make lots and lots of money at the beginning. They do it slowly and surely, and over a lifetime, or whatever. It could be 20, 30 years, but over an extended period of time, they just keep doing the job right, and the customers love them, and they're able to put away money, and so they can retire early or semi-retire, or whatever they would like to do in their dreams.
Yeah, this reminds me of I don't remember if it's in the article or the podcast episode where we talked about fire, the different types of fire, where there's like lean fire, fat fire, all of that. Really, if you want to achieve fire and going deeper into that, whether you want to do lean or fat or whatever it may be, that is, it really comes down to you, your personal desires, your needs, your wants, and that's what you will make happen. So with that determination, we're able to power through things and all of that, as I've been talking about. But an entrepreneur has the attribute of knowing themselves, of knowing their capacity. Another way of putting it is like knowing their bandwidth, knowing what they're capable of doing. And a business, taking on a business by yourself, there are people that do it, and it's a very big thing to do. And if you want your business to scale, then you would need to know your limits and know that you can't do it alone. And the article that goes along with this podcast episode talks about Tim Ferriss and the 4 Hour Work Week, and the four concepts that Tim Ferriss lays out in that book of simplification, elimination, automation, and delegation. So a good entrepreneur knows that they can't do everything, so they know when to simplify tasks, when to eliminate things that are bringing no or little return on investment, ROI. They also know when to look for software or other things to be able to automate the processes in their business. All of this to take a load off of themselves. And they also know when to delegate. And delegation is either hiring somebody on full time or part time, having an official employee that works in house with them, a better job than the entrepreneur themselves, because the entrepreneur has the vision, they have the passion, they have the work ethic, but that doesn't mean they necessarily have all of the expertise. There are so many different aspects to a business that honestly, I don't know if there exists a person in this world that possesses all of the expertise to run their business and grow it successfully without help. And so it's a good thing to be able to hire or outsource to someone that knows that specific part of the business and that's laser focused on that and isn't distracted by other things like an entrepreneur would be to an agency or to a freelancer. So that's a great attribute to have as an entrepreneur. One of the attributes that are imperative because too many people are quitting on themselves and going away from entrepreneurship because they're too overwhelmed. They have worked themselves into the ground. To quote another book, The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, they've created full-time jobs for themselves and not a business. And the goal with our community is to be able to start businesses, to be business owners, to have businesses to help us achieve FIRE, which is financial independence and retiring early. And as we've talked about in past episodes, that looks different for everybody, but that is the goal that we have in mind. And so it's imperative to have the attribute where you know your limits and you're able to get other people, other software, whatever it may be, to make your business run and grow and make it so that you're able to step away and enjoy the life that you have worked hard to achieve.
Yeah, as you start your business, from my experience, it was critical that I was constantly asking, how can I do this better? How can I be more efficient at this so that I can make money? I set for myself certain goals as to how much more I wanted to make each year, and goals, each year of, how many sales we wanted to make, and as I did that, it naturally facilitated in being able to simplify it because I got better and better at doing those things, and I was constantly looking at it so that I could be more and more efficient. And it's very natural to eliminate things that you see are not bringing on, are not contributing much to your bottom line. So I think that's somewhat natural, but it's important also to have a list of these things so that on a regular basis, you can be thinking, how can I simplify? How can I eliminate? How can I automate? And how can I delegate? And then as you have the procedures down, you feel like they're simplified. You've eliminated those that aren't very productive, and you've automated those that you can. Then it seems very natural to be able to delegate so that you can accomplish more, and you can focus on those things that you're very good at. You can find people that can easily duplicate the procedures that you've simplified.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a big theme out there among like all of the content that's out there in regards to business that you'll hear very often is like if you stay stagnant, if you keep your business stagnant, doing the same thing day in and day out and never improving, then your competition is going to come in and it's going to crush you. So you need to keep on moving forward. You need to, like you were saying, always be looking for the next thing that's going to help your business grow, to help your business improve. Because honestly, that's the nature of competition. That's really the beauty of competition is businesses are always looking for ways to better serve the customer. So it's a great thing for the customer for competition to be out there because they're always going to be served in the best way possible as long as they're finding the best businesses, right? But the point of being a business owner, of having a business, if you want to stay alive, if you want your business to stay alive and to thrive and to crush your competition, then you need to be the one that is looking for new ways to best serve your customer, to improve on your processes, to make things better so that your customer is always the happiest it can be. It's sad to see how many people have failed in business because they believe that they can get to a certain point and stay there. And in an ever-changing world, that's just impossible. You can't do that. And especially in the world of business. So yeah, it's a very important attribute to know what your limits are and to have other people help you to make sure that your business is doing what we're saying, improving and doing always what's best for your customer, and staying away from that pride, I guess you can say, of, well, I've made it to this point and it's good enough. And don't fall into that trap. You need to be able to keep moving forward always.
I think as you start a business and you make the effort that's necessary in order to be successful, you start developing, traits like self-analysis or analysis of the business to further find, ways that you can improve, little tweaks that will help you to do better and better each day. And as you do that, I for me, it's kind of caught fire. I've learned to really love that type of life where I'm constantly looking at ways to improve. And so then if you're aware of it, and you can easily develop that quality, so that if you had set for yourself a goal that that you might reach and then feel like you're done, the day-to-day of trying to improve can help you move through that and continue to set higher and higher goals.
Part of being a visionary is as you're going along, like not just from the beginning knowing or seeing your vision and all that, but it's as you're going along, improving that vision, improving what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, as you're saying. So I think that definitely ties into the trait of vision, having a vision for yourself and for your business, and developing that attribute of self-analysis, as you were saying, and knowing how best to improve yourself and your business. And those are very important, as we're saying, like as in business, it also applies in life. We just can't stay stagnant. We've always got to be moving forward. We've always got to be improving on ourselves and doing better, because that's really the way that we're going to be happy, the way that we're going to achieve true success in our lives.
These qualities play off of each other, and as we find out that we want to do something, we just decide that, hey, we're going to do what it takes to accomplish it. That passion really can ignite that determination. That vision really can ignite our determination to develop the leadership skills and the improvement skills that will help us to keep taking our company higher, improving it, and reaching our goals.
I think a very key thing, what you just said, that is very important to emphasize, is you never know what you're passionate about. You never know what you're determined to do. You never know what you enjoy doing until you try it. If you have an idea that you think is a good idea, go out and try it. If you fail, then awesome. Then you learn something that isn't going to work. It's like Thomas Edison. When he failed, when he found 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb, then that was good. He found out how not to do it, and then eventually got to where he knew how to do it. And the same is true with every aspect of life. You don't know what you're going to enjoy until you do it. And so go ahead and do it. If you fail, great, move on to the next thing. If you decide later on down the road that, I really don't enjoy this, which has happened to me. I don't know if you guys remember, in a past episode I talked about the other businesses I've started, that I've been like, I really don't see myself doing this in the long run. So then I discovered that quickly and I moved on to the next thing. And that's very important. You can't just sit and analyze and think about what you're good at and what your interests are, because you could do that your entire life and not accomplish anything. So if something interests you, go for it and go from there. We would love to hear from you. If you would like, you could leave a comment on our blog post for this episode. You can find that at firepreneurship.com/15. Or if you would like to be featured on this podcast, you can send us an email with a voice recording and title that email Podcast Voicemail. We will review it and we may include it in a future episode. We look forward to hearing from you. Our mission at firepreneurship.com is to help people like you achieve FIRE, financial independence, retire early, through entrepreneurship. We offer educational materials like this podcast, but most of all, we offer outsourcing services to help you automate the business you started to bring you financial independence, so you can focus on what you love the most about running your business, or if you want, step away from your autonomous business altogether and retire early. Thank you for listening to this edition of the Firepreneurship Show. To show our appreciation, we've created a page full of helpful resources for you and your business. To access it, visit firepreneurship.com/resources. Again, that's firepreneurship.com/resources. It's time we signed our own Declaration of Financial Independence.